On the news tonight, FG dismisses reports of fresh telecoms fuel taxes. Oyo APM governorship candidate unveils Engineer Muftau Open Salawu as running mates. Israel launches fresh strikes on Lebanon. Good evening and thank you for joining us on the news around the world. My name is Afolakemi Akombi, and at the sign language corner I have Korede Oluleye. The federal government has dismissed reports suggesting that it has adopted or is considering new taxes on telecommunications services and petroleum products following the publication of the International Monetary Fund IMF Article 4 consultation report on Nigeria. The clarification followed reports that the IMF had said Nigeria may need to extend VAT to fuel products and introduce excess duties on telecommunications services to raise revenue, fund development, and social spending. However, a statement by Efe Ekwapiri, Head Information and Public Relations Unit, Ministry of Finance, on Wednesday. The government said the report misrepresented the content of the IMF report and did not reflect its policy direction. The government clarified that the VAT added tax VAT waiver on petroleum products remains in place and has not been withdrawn. Security stakeholders have recommended a series of decisive measures to address Nigeria's worsening insecurity, including freezing the bank accounts of suspected sponsors of banditry, shutting down illegal mining activities believed to finance criminal network, and suspending telecommunication services in identified forest hideouts. The recommendations were made during the discussion on the BCOS Current Affairs Breakfast Program M120, themed Oriri Adoptions, 1 month in Captivity. A journalist and lecturer at the Lead City University, Ibadan, Dr. Wahid Busari, alongside security expert Dr. Adekunle Okunla, examined possible strategies for tackling the country's security challenges. Our reporter, Fidora Afolagboye, has more.
1 month after the abduction of residents of Oriri local government area, families of the victims remain anxious and hopeful as efforts to secure their release continue. The incident has further heightened concerns over insecurity and the vulnerability of rural communities across the country. Speaking on the BCOS Current Affairs Program, AM120, journalist and lecturer at Lead City University, Ibadan, Dr. Wahid Busari, stressed the need for stronger collaboration between the federal and state government in addressing insecurity. According to him, criminal groups often rely on a network of collaborators and informants who aid their operations, making intelligence gathering a critical component of security efforts. Dr. Busari also advocated the establishment of effective community policing structures to strengthen grassroots intelligence and support law enforcement agencies in combating crime.
What happened in Oriri local government was not what we prepared for. But we could say that it was an incident that was waiting to happen. In the sense that we've had cases of abductions, kidnappings, and what have you across the country. And the probability was that since our security agencies were not relenting in combating these criminals, the tendency would be that if they are not caught, they may probably move away from places that they were, hitherto. And I think that was confirmed by Defense headquarters, saying that those who perpetrated the crime in Oriri were people who were smoked out of a particular location.
Also speaking on the program, security expert Adekunle Okunla noted that the rescue operation must be handled with caution, especially as children are among those being held captive. He proposed several measures to curb insurgency and kidnapping, including relocating state governors to affected areas for direct supervision of security operations, activating state-backed community policing initiatives, and ensuring the prompt payment of outstanding salaries and allowances owed to security personnel. Dr. Okola further suggested that traditional rulers and local government authorities in communities where kidnapping incidents persist should be held accountable for security lapses.
This kind of operation calls for calmness, So I believe that a lot of things are going on the ground. Of course, the military or the Joint Task Force will not reveal, their operational tactics, to the general public because they know that these bandits, they have informants even among the people. But I strongly agree with the governor, and I believe that very soon these children and their teachers will be released. I strongly believe that.
The guests also urged Nigerians to verify information before sharing it, warning that the spread of rumors and unverified reports contributes to public fear, panic, and misinformation. Fidora Afolagwe, BCOS News.
The Deputy Inspector General Police in charge of Information and Communication Technology ICT and coordinating DIJ for the Southwest Zone, Mr. Fayoade Adegoke, has assured the safe return of all adopted victims of May 15 attack in Orire local government area of the state. The DIG gave the assurance when he was on working visit to Shon of Ogomosholand, Obagandi Afolabi, Olaoye Orumogege III, saying the concerned authorities are working day and night to rescue the victims. The police boss commended the monarch over his efforts towards maintaining peaceful coexistence in the zone. He said he would inform President Tinubu on the commitment of the monarch and is subject to rescue release of all victims. Oba Olaoye expressed optimism on the efforts of the government and security operatives in securing release of principal, teachers, and students who have spent over 30 days in captivity. No fewer than 9 persons were reportedly killed, while 11 others sustained injuries following an attack on Angwa Magaji community in Kamaru ward of Kahura local government area of Kaduna State, a community bordering Plateau State. The incident, which occurred today, has raised fresh concerns over insecurity affecting communities along the Kaduna Plateau axis. According to a statement by the National Publicity Secretary of the Irigwe Youth Movement, Joseph Yakpa, the attackers invaded the community and opened fire on residents. The National Secretary of the Irigwe Development Association, Danjuma Ahuta, confirmed the incident and condemned the attack. Ahuta described the killing as unfortunate and called on security agencies to immediately investigate the incident and bring the perpetrators to justice. We now take our first commercial break. Please don't go away.
Wearing many hats takes a lot out of you. You always need all the nourishing goodness you can get. Especially if you're someone like me that is a foodie. The ultimate meal companion.
A PhD student.
Rich in B vitamins for focus. Yes, we all need it. Because every side of you deserves to be nourished.
Even you, they use money point?
Of course now, they use money point.
Confirm.
Money point, made for your progress.
Oh, remember how mom used to wake up before everybody to make breakfast, iron our uniform.
As
Let's surprise that woman with something special.
Treasure Mom this 2026 with a trip to Zanzibar in the 3 Crowns Mom of the Year competition. Write a note using each letter in your mom's name and upload with a photo of 5,000 Naira worth of 3 Crowns products on our website or at any of our collection centers. T's and C's apply. 3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
Alright everyone, no put your ears, make we talk. Time don't reach to rearrange this house to give una small wisdom. Sounds mighty fresh now, but you know, I beg no be so. Before una go talk, say our smell no reach. Make una think I'm twice so. Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world?
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's a time to brush. No more for my cover mouth. Because Colgate, that's who do yaga with your smile.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
Glad to know you're still there. A federal high court on Monday ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to register 5 political parties for allegedly failing to meet constitutional requirements for continued registration. The ruling has generated widespread debate among political stakeholders, legal practitioners, and analysts over its implications for Nigeria's democratic process and future elections. Staff reporter Olubumi Lawal examines the implications of the judgments on Nigeria's political landscape.
Nigeria's political landscape has witnessed a significant development following a federal high court judgment directing the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to deregister 5 political parties for allegedly failing to meet constitutional and electoral requirements. The affected political parties are the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Accord, Action Alliance, AA, Action People's Party, APP, and Zenith Labour Party, ZLP. The judgment delivered by Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court, Abuja, followed a suit instituted by the National Forum of Former Legislators. According to the court, the affected parties failed to satisfy the provisions of Section 225A of the 1999 Constitution, the Electoral Act 2022, and relevant INEC regulations governing the continued existence of political parties. The court held that the parties recorded poor performances in the 2023 general elections and subsequent by-elections, having failed to secure significant electoral victories and falling below the required constitutional threshold. Political scientist and public affairs analyst Dr. Stephen Lafenwa acknowledged INEC's constitutional powers to register and deregister political parties. However, he questioned the timing of the judgment, noting that several political parties had already commenced preparations for forthcoming elections, including the emergence of candidates and flag bearers. Dr. Lafenwa added that ruling could create uncertainty for some political actors and parties ahead of future electoral contests.
Political parties which INEC granted the right to conduct primaries. Before party primaries were conducted, they should have been informed that you are not qualified. You don't need to waste your money, you don't need to waste your time. But now that the election in Osun State, for example, now is going to take place next week. So what do you want to tell the candidate of Accord Party? That you are not going to contest again when INEC has already recognized him as a candidate and his name is already on their portal. And what of other political parties, ADC, that have conducted their party primaries? Are you now telling them that you are not going to be what? You are not going to contest? What is left for the parties that are concerned is for them to appeal.
Also speaking, legal practitioner and politician Mr. Bimpe Adelowo described the judgment as controversial, arguing that some of the affected parties, particularly the ADC and Accord Party, had met the constitutional requirements for continued registration. He attributed the outcome to what he described as inadequate presentation of critical facts before the courts and faulted INEC's handling of the matter. Mr. Adelowo maintained that the affected parties still have legal options available through the appellate process.
Maybe because of the misrepresentation, maybe poor presentations of certain facts before the court. That is why parties like Accord, ADC were among. Ordinarily, if court will deliver these judgments, basically courts should look into other factors.
The court ordered the registration of the 5 political parties marks another significant chapter in Nigeria's evolving democratic journey. While supporters of the judgment view it as a necessary step towards streamlining the nation's political system and strengthening electoral accountability, critics argue that it could limit political participation and reduce the diversity of political choices available to voters. Political observers say the final outcome will depend largely on the appeals process and INEC's response to the court's directive. Regardless of the eventual resolution, the development underscores the continued debate over how best to balance political inclusiveness with the need for an effective and sustainable party system in Nigeria. Olubumi Lawal, BCOS News.
The Allied People's Movement, APM, in alliance with the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has unveiled Engineer Muftau Opun Salawu as its deputy governorship candidate for the 2027 Oyo State governorship election. APM governorship candidate Mr. Bimbo Adekombi formally presented his running mate during a party event held at the PDP Secretariat Okeado, Ibadan. Details are presented by Governor's Office correspondent Olalekan Sulaiman.
Members of the Allied People's Movement, APM, and the People's Democratic Party, PDP, gathered at the PDP Secretariat Okeado, Ibadan for the formal unveiling of Engineer Muftau Opun Salawu as the running mate to the APM governorship candidate, Mr. Bimbo Adekombi, ahead of the 2027 Oyo State governorship election. In his address, the governorship candidate of Allied People's Movement, APM, Mr. Bimbo Adekombi, said the choice of Engineer Muftau Opun Salawu was informed by the need to build a formidable team capable of sustaining and expanding the development strides of Governor Seyi Makinde's administration. He noted that both candidates possess complementary skills and experience, adding that the challenges of governance require a competent and visionary leadership team. Mr. Adekombi expressed confidence that their combined expertise in finance and engineering will contribute significantly to the continued growth and development of Oyo State.
We are a serious government being schooled and tutored by somebody who is a master in the art of governance, Engineer Seyi Makinde, who has provided for infrastructure, good life for everyone by paying of salaries regularly, agribusiness, culture. In every area, he has scored excellently well, and security too. Now, he wants to hand over to a capable team.
In his acceptance speech, Engineer Muftau Opun Salawu emphasized the need for unity within the party, urging aggrieved members to put aside their differences and work together towards securing victory in the next election. He expressed gratitude to the leadership and members of the allied parties for the confidence reposed in him, pledging to justify the trust placed in his candidacy.
Whatever we are doing, whatever is our relationship, please, what is important in politics is winning. We must win the next election. Until we win the next election, before we could sit down and start sharing. It is important to be in the house.
Earlier, in their separate remarks, the Oyo State chairman of the Allied People's Movement, APM, Otunba Adegbenro Fagbemi, the Oyo State chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Honorable Dayo Ogunbenro, and the PDP chieftain, Chief Sakabalogun, urged party members to remain united and committed to ensuring the continuity of good governance in Oyo State. Engineer Muftau Opun Salau was born on May 10, 1973, is from Ogbomoso North local government area of Oyo State. A seasoned civil engineer, he previously served as the pioneer chairman of the Oyo State Project Performance Monitoring Agency and has amassed extensive experience in public service. Olalekan Sulaiman, BCOS News.
Former Director General of the Oyo State Mineral Development Agency, OISMIDA, and former Oyo State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Abiodun Oni, has advocated the decentralization of Nigeria's mining sector to allow greater participation by state government and unlock the industry's full potential. He also called for stronger collaboration between the federal and state governments in the management of the nation's solid mineral resources. Mr. Oni made the remarks while featuring on BCOS Television's flagship program, Guest of the Month. Our reporter, Olamide Olabi, reports.
Speaking on the solid mineral sector during BCOS Television Guest of the Month, former Director General of the Oyo State Mineral Development Agency, OISMIDA, Mr. Abiodun Oni, noted that mining activities predate the discovery of crude oil in Nigeria, but have received less attention due to the more organized structure of oil and gas industry. He explained that although the sector is often linked to illegal mining activities, many operators are engaged in legitimate mining. He, however, observed that weak regulation and inadequate monitoring have exposed the sector to banditry and other criminal activities. Mr. Oni further identified the absence of strong institutional frameworks as a major impediment to the growth of the mining industry, noting that frequent policy changes resulting from leadership transitions have slowed development. He stressed the need for stable and effective institutions capable of driving long-term policies that will enable the country to harness the full benefits of its abundant mineral resources. The former OISMIDA DG also revealed that an investment worth $200 million have recently been committed to the development of mineral resources in the Bekti axis of Oyo State with the aim of boosting exploration and utilization of the area's mineral deposits.
If we don't give in some concessions for mining to get up there, so one of the concessions is giving some form of ownership to the state, like I mentioned earlier on, decentralize the governance of mining, get the state to bring in, like what we're doing in the Pay Center Mineral Development, which is an initiative of the federal government to have a state company as a limited liability company, If we're able to have a lot of that, the state knows that it will generate money from it. You put in money in it. You put in presence. You put in control, put in governance.
On environmental management, Mr. Oni, who served as Oyo State Commissioner for Environment, identified sustainability as one of the major challenges confronting waste management efforts in the country. He emphasized the need for citizens to take greater responsibility for maintaining a clean and healthy environment, stressing that environmental sanitation should not be left solely to government agencies.
When it comes to waste management, that's where the issue comes in, It has to do with people and orientation. People have to take responsibility, in keeping our environment clean and sustaining it. Right. But where you have a difficulty in getting people, to align behind what is just and right, you don't have a clean environment. It's irrespective of what the governor does as regards, you always need a handshake. Our people must have a handshake and agreement with the government in sustaining the waste disposal policies. so you can have a clean environment.
Commenting on the nation's economy, Mr. Oni described the current economic situation as below expectations, noting that the purchasing power of many Nigerians have significantly declined. He expressed optimism that the economy would improve with collective commitment and active contributions from citizens towards national growth and development. Olamide Wolabi, BCOS News.
Another time out, please don't go away.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on. Malaria gone.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, enriched with 95% pure vitamin C and pulp extract. For visibly radiant and even-toned skin in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, for your shade of beautiful.
The home is under attack, but not for long, because Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains, no video shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No greed. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go hypo.
The joys of life are found in moments. Moments that makes us wonder, then fill our hearts with laughter. Moments we risk it all for a craving, but the reward makes it all worth it. Moments when you remind everyone of your greatness. Moments when you feel like you need a hero. Then you realize you're the hero you've always needed.
Collect 10 unique moments and win big in the My Indomie Moments promo.
Cadbury 3-in-1 hot chocolate, the treat you deserve.
Thank you for staying tuned. As the 2026 planting season begins, farmers across Oyo State and Nigeria are stepping up preparations for a productive farming cycle. However, rising input costs and unpredictable weather patterns continue to pose major challenges, prompting experts to emphasize proper planning and efficient resource management. Our reporter, Folashade Akintola, has the details.
With the gradual onset of rainfall, farmlands are springing back to life as farmers commence planting activities across the state. From vegetable growers to root crop farmers, attention is now focused on maximizing yield despite prevailing economy and climate uncertainties. An agricultural expert, Dr. Abdulrafiu Ayola, notes that poor nursery management has resulted in significant seed losses, urging farmers to adopt standard planting techniques, including proper spacing. He also emphasized the importance of integrating modern and traditional farming methods, particularly for small-scale farmers with limited resources.
To ensure that they manage the seed very well, more so that the economy is really not on the side of anybody now. Fund is very limiting, so they need to really be very judicious in managing the seed in the nursery.
Dr. Ayola further explained that crops such as Amaranthus, locally known as Tete, and Celosia, known as Choco, require careful handling due to their tiny seed size, making proper spacing and seed mixing essential. He warned that the rainy season often brings increased risk of crop diseases, especially in crops like okra, advising farmers to properly time their planting to maximize losses. He warned that the rainy season often brings increased risks of crop diseases, especially in crops like okra, advising farmers to properly time their planting to maximize losses.
farmers need to just be very timely. You need to watch the time. Crops that are not that don't tolerate too much water, or that comes with a lot of diseases during high volume rain, they will keep them till you have the rain coming down a bit. But crops that can tolerate high volume rain, they can plant them now. So we encourage farmers to get their materials, their planting materials from a certified source, where they can go back and even ask and get backstopping.
Also speaking, a local farmer, Alhaji Sauliu Imam, said many farmers have already begun planting despite uncertainties associated with climate change. He described the current period as crucial for both short-time and long-term crops, urging farmers to take full advantage of available rainfall while ensuring alternative water sources for irrigation when necessary.
This is time to at least do the actual production, the actual planting, so that whatever you are into, if it's a long-term fruiting crop, you've got to plant for now, so that those crops will establish for further growth.
On government support, Alhaji Imam called for improved access to funding, stressing that reliance on limited agricultural interventions may not be sufficient for farmers.
But you that want to take farm or agriculture as your industry, you have to source for funds. But sourcing for funds for mass production is simply not there. But what I would advise is even not sometimes economical or reasonable for you to go into large acreage. If you are doing 1 acre or even few plots in what we call through GAP, that is good agricultural practices, you will be making your money, you'll be doing fine, instead of going to thousands of acres that you may not be able to manage well. So if you do what we call precision agriculture, that is where you can make your money, and we can feed the nation through that.
While acknowledging ongoing government efforts, he maintained that more robust support is needed to boost large-scale agricultural production. As the planting season gathers momentum, stakeholders agree that effective planning, prudent resource management, and improved access to funding will be critical to achieving a successful harvest and enhancing food security in Nigeria. Folashade Akintola, BCOS News.
The planting season has commenced in Gambari, Agility and surrounding communities in Ogbomoso, Oyo State, with many farmers expressing optimism for a productive farming year following the frequent rainfalls across the zones of Ogbomoso. A visit to farmlands by BCOS reporter in Gambari, Agility Zone revealed that many farmers have already begun planting maize, potatoes, and vegetables following consistent rainfalls recorded in recent weeks. BCOS reporter Oyefeso Olaiton, who visited some farmland, says farmers have expressed hope of an improved harvest this year. This report is presented by staff reporter Bimbo Akobi.
Farmers said the weather conditions has so far been favorable for land preparation, seed germination, and early crop growing. Meteorological forecasts also indicate that Oyo State may experience occasional dry spells during the growing season, making proper timing of planting and moisture conservation practices essential for achieving good yields. An agricultural extension officer, Mr. Sunday Abiodun, encouraged farmers in Gambali, Agility, Axis, and other areas to make use of improved seed varieties, apply fertilizers appropriately, and maintain effective weed control to maximize productivity during the season. Also, a local farmer in the area, Evangelist Isaiah Olaiwola, who took time to educate farmers on varieties of cassava, also advised farmers to monitor weather information regularly and adopt climate-smart agricultural practices.
So, ọmọ ń jẹ́ olóṣù mẹ́fà, àwọn mẹ́wàá olóṣù mẹ́rààrún, ọlọ́dún kan bó ṣe wà nù. Ẹlẹ́kàgá wà, bàbá dúdú wà, tí àwọn lè ju ọdún méjì, ọdún mẹ́ta. ṣùgbọ́n eléyìí ọlọ́dún kan ni títí wà báyìí so èèyàn tó lè filẹ̀ téèyàn bá tí ì nílò ilẹ̀ tí ó lò.
Historical weather patterns in Ogbomoso show that the rainy season normally becomes fully established between April and October, with rainfall intensity increasing from June and peaking around August and September.
We shall now take another commercial break, and after the break, we'll go over to our sports desk.
Bodies get serums, washes, lotions, cleansers, scrubs, but underarms only get deodorant? That's why our new breakthrough formula contains pure hyaluron and vitamin C to deeply care for your underarms for a softer and even skin tone in 2 weeks. With 72 hours sweat and odor protection, try the new Nivea Derma Control Natural Tone, because your underarms deserve more. Nivea is for skin.
Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Shine on.
The home is under attack, but not for long, because Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains, no fit do us shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No green. Protect every day with Hypo.
Wearing many hats takes a lot out of you. You always need all the nourishing goodness you can get. Especially if you're someone like me that is a foodie. The ultimate meal companion.
A PhD student.
Rich in B vitamins for focus. Yes, we all need it, because every side of you deserves to be nourished.
The joys of life are found in moments. Moments that makes us wonder, then fill our hearts with laughter. Moments we risk it all for a craving, but the reward makes it all worth it. Moments when you remind everyone of your greatness. Moments when you feel like you need a hero. Then you realize you're the hero you've always needed.
Collect 10 unique moments and win big in the My Indomie Moments promo.
Good evening, and welcome to the sports segment of the evening news. My name is Toby Ajewale.
Nigeria's wrestlers delivered a strong performance at the Central African Wrestling Championship in Brazzaville, Congo, securing 5 gold medals and 1 silver across freestyle, beach and women's event. The team made an instant impact on day 1 with Terry Godfrey striking gold in the men's 65 kg freestyle. Andrew Wanyikorikie followed in the 53 women's category, and Priscilla Archborn completed a clean sweep by winning the 45 kg event. The momentum continued in beach wrestling. Wanyikorikie and Archborn added more golds, while Godfrey picked up a silver. Nigeria placed 3rd overall behind host DR Congo and Congo Brazzaville. Nigeria's Wrestling Federation President Bashir Adewale Adeniyi described the campaign as part of a strategic push to develop grassroots talent through international competition. And in football, Nigeria's Golden Eaglets have opened camp in Abuja ahead of the 2026 WAFU B Under-17 Boys Championship, with doubles as qualifiers for the 2027 Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations. The team is training at the Gold Project pitch as head coach Ebeborishe Uweja Mumore and his assistants Olumide Ajibolade, Mohamed Kachela and Abdullah Isa work to select a squad capable of ending Nigeria's absence from the last 2 Under-17 African editions. And in other sport news, midfielder Bernardo Silva has signed a 2-year deal with Real Madrid, linking up with manager Jose Mourinho. The 31-year-old departed Manchester City as a free agent after 9 successful years. Silva becomes Real's second summer signing, following defender Marco Correa's £52 million arrival from Chelsea. The Spanish Giants, who finished 8 points behind La Liga champions Barcelona last season, are also linked with moves for Inter's Denzel Dumfries and Liverpool's Ibrahima Konate, while Antonio Rudiger has extended his contract until 2027. Now the World Cup, Lionel Messi stole the show once again as Argentina defeated Algeria 3-0 in their group opener. The 38-year-old scored his first World Cup hat-trick and a record equaling 16th World Cup goal on his landmark 200 appearance for his country. Messi became the first player to feature at 6 World Cups, delivering another masterclass exactly 20 years after his tournament debut. Argentina coach Lionel Scaloni said he had no words left to describe the superstar who continues to inspire after 2 decades at the top. Finally, Sport News tonight from tennis. Serena and Venus Williams will team up in the women's doubles at Wimbledon after receiving a wild card. Neither sister received a singles wild card. Serena, at age 44, recently returned to action at Queens and Berlin, while the 45-year-old Venus has been active in doubles this season. The pair, who won 6 Wimbledon doubles titles together, will bring their legendary presence back to SW19.
And that will be all. And it's back to news around the world. My name is Toby.
Thank you, Toby. And now to foreign scene. Israeli forces have carried out new strikes in southern Lebanon. State media says despite renewed criticism from U.S. President Donald Trump of Israel's actions in the country. Foreign desk editor Folashade Akintola compiled the story and others as presented by Khadijat Lawal.
On Wednesday, Israeli jets struck the Nabatea al-Fawqa area and the outskirts of neighboring Kafra Tebnit, Lebanon's national news agency reported. The Israeli military has not yet commented but has previously said it is targeting the Iran-backed armed group Hezbollah. The text of a deal between the US and Iran to end the war has not been released, but mediator Pakistan says it includes Lebanon. On Tuesday, Trump said Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu needed to be more responsible with respect to Lebanon. Speaking at the G7 summit in France, he also said that Israel had been fighting Hezbollah for too long and too many people have been killed. Both Israel and Hezbollah have carried out attacks against each other since the US-Iran agreement was announced on Sunday night. Earlier that day, an Israeli airstrike on Beirut in response to cross-border rocket attack by Hezbollah had put pressure on attempts to finalize the deal. Meanwhile, several tankers carrying Iranian oil have crossed the United States blockade line in the Strait of Hormuz, according to a tracking website. 2 days before Washington and Tehran had to launch more talks after reaching a framework agreement to end their war. The Tanker Tracker website, which monitors oil shipments and storage, on Wednesday identified Iran's first crude oil exports in 2 months, citing digital tracking data corroborated by satellite imagery. The talks on a final settlement to end the war, triggered by US-Israeli strikes on Iran on February 28, are to begin on Friday at the Switzerland's Bergenstock Mountain Resort, as news that the Strait of Hormuz will reopen sent world oil prices tumbling. According to tanker trackers, 2 national Iranian tanker company, NITC tankers, the Downer and Hero 2, carrying a total of 3.8 million barrels of Iranian oil, exited the blockade line on Tuesday, while another tanker, Stream, was sailing towards Iranian ports on Wednesday. A third tanker operated by the NITC was carrying 1 million barrels of Iranian crude, sailed past the U.S. Navy's blockade line in the Gulf of Oman on Wednesday, according to tanker trackers. They are due to continue over 60 days and are aimed at leading to an agreement on Iran's nuclear program and the plan to lift international sanctions on Iran, officials said. And lastly, the current Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo could become deadlier than the worst outbreak on record, which killed more than 11,000 people, says the head of Africa's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Africa CDC. The number of confirmed cases in the country had increased to 837, including 196 deaths, government data showed on Tuesday. A reporter said tens of thousands of people who may have been exposed to Ebola had not yet been traced or contacted. A Red Cross official said that the epidemic had not yet peaked in the country. The response has been hampered by a lack of treatment centers and by community resistance to stringent hygiene measures. Health officials said that more than a month since the outbreak was declared, the true scale was still unknown. The bodies of Ebola victims are highly infectious after death, and unsafe traditional burials in which family members handle the body without proper protective equipment are a leading driver of transmission. There is no approved treatment or vaccine for this strain of Ebola. The World Health Organization says it could take up to 9 months for a vaccine to be ready. Khadija Lawal, BCOS News.
To end the news tonight, here again are the main points. The federal government has dismissed reports suggesting that it has adopted or is considering new taxes on telecommunications services and petroleum products following the publication of the International Monetary Fund (IMF) Article 4 consultation report on Nigeria. The Allied People's Movement, APM, in alliance with the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has unveiled Engineer Muftar Open Salawu as its deputy governorship candidate for the 2027 Oyo State governorship election. And on the foreign scene, Israeli forces have carried out new strikes in southern Lebanon. State media says, despite renewed criticism from U.S. President Donald Trump on Israel's action in the country. BCOS TV is now on Niger TV app and Free TV app. You can watch us from any part of the world. You can also reach us on GoTV channel 134 and 113 on StarTimes. Now, before I go, don't join hoodlums in threatening the peaceful coexistence of the country. It is only in an atmosphere of peace that development thrives. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening.